think the moon is real?
Great segue.
I think.
I think that I never questioned, other than like thinking it was made out of cheese when I was a baby or whatever. But
Okay.
I don't think I've ever questioned the moon until probably in my 30s. Like I never even thought about it in any way that it could be something else. Because it was when I was younger, it was always the talk of could there be life on the moon and on Mars and things like that. But because we couldn't see it properly. Or something like that. Am I imagining that? I don't know, man.
No, yeah. I think you're right about that. I do have the thing of like what I never questioned is. Go ahead.
I know what I'd like the moon to be.
Okay, what would you like it to be?
But I don't know if it is. So I don't want to find out because I'll be gutted. I'd like it to be hollow. I'd like that theory to be true.
Okay.
The one where it's like a hollow moon that like contains, I don't know, aliens or some sort of watchers that are watching over us. Like that'd be.
So it's more like a ship than an actual planet.
A ship. I feel like a lot of theories that I've read about say that the moon was put there in order to help life on Earth live because of the gravitational pull for the tides and stuff like that. So it was definitely there, or not just for a sort of like a spaceship that just stays there.
Without the tides, there would be nothing on Earth.
I don't know if there'd be nothing. Like that's the thing about these things. You listen to snippets of stuff on different podcasts or different YouTube shows, but I don't read. So like I don't go and like check out what people are saying. Isn't that what we all do? We just watch something, take in like one or two sentences, and that helps form who we are and what we think.
Yeah. It ties in with something that I already knew about the whatever I was listening to.
Yeah.
And
you don't know it. It's just something you heard and thought that sounds plausible to me. I'll go with that, and therefore I know that fact. But it's
like
not a fact.
Something that makes enough sense that I can kind of remember it. If it has sort of a logical connection that it sort of fits somewhere in my brain.
Yeah.
Then I'll remember it for longer.
If the moon wasn't doing anything to do with the tides, and let's say the moon was not there.
Okay.
And we had no tides on Earth, what would be the effect of that? Wouldn't like the water just go stagnant? Is part of the reason?
I think the water would still kind of move, but maybe not as maybe not every day. There'd still be some sort of. There would still be currents in the ocean.
But wouldn't it just fall off the edge of the Earth?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about the edge of the Earth. We need to do like a flat Earth episode. Yeah. Let's forget about the moon one.
No, that's because the moon's flat too. Flat mooners.
The flat moon.
That put a whole different image in my head, but like that, there's a gap in the market. Flat mooners. That's a podcast, isn't it?
The moon is flat. The moon could be flat, but then it's not even round all the time because you don't see the full. You mean full flatness?
You mean it doesn't appear round all the time?
No. I'm just saying I'm saying it's flat, and sometimes it's not even a circle. Sometimes it's just a moon shape. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. So it appears to you as you look into the night sky. Like it has a crescent.
It's what it is. It doesn't appear to me. That's like that could be the theory. It's what it is.
No. That's not how that works at all. Like if
that's mostly what flat Earth is.
If you turn the lights off in this room, you wouldn't see anything. It doesn't mean there's nothing there.
But according to the theory we're developing right now, yes.
This is a fucked up theory. Like I can't.
But you have to kind of when you're developing a new theory, you have to kind of.
It's like the reverse of Schrodinger's cat. It's like rather than all the possibilities could be there. It's like no possibilities there. That's what you're saying. It's like if I don't see it, it's not happening.
Like the cat is neither there nor dead, nor alive. The cat never existed.
There's no cat. What are cats? Is that your?
But when you develop like a new theory, you need to be a bit more to soften up your brain a bit. Like the hard rules need to stop being hard for you to kind of develop.
You see,
The
you
new
make
thing.
you have moments like that where you make total sense, but then the next thing you say will be something ridiculous. You'll be
Okay.
like, okay, I'll open up my mind for something, and then you'll say something like,
I think sometimes I'm just translating from, maybe there was like an expression in Romania I was trying to get to
Yeah.
in English, and it just
yeah.
wasn't the path. But but
So that's what I'd like. I'd like
it should be.
the hollow moon theory people to be right. I'd like the moon to be some sort of vehicle stroke space station that's maintained at that's in that position in order to help the Earth survive, and also then they can watch us.
Why would they hollow out the moon and not the Earth?
Well, they
I'm
haven't
assu-
hollowed it out. It was never a real moon. It's just
Never
it's just-
existed.
it appears like a moon on the outside, but it never is. It's just.
But it could have appeared as anything, because it's not like we could compare it to something. It's not like that's not a moon. That's how moons actually look like.
Now,
Like they could have looked like anything.
yeah. I mean, now I've said that to you. Maybe hollow moon people are saying they hollowed it out rather than they just flew a moon-shaped thing.
I think that's sort of. But and also, if that's true, there are definitely people living in the inside of planet Earth as well. I don't know if people, but
You reckon?
if one is true, the other one must be true as well. I don't think there are aliens that have the capacity to hollow out the moon, but don't have the capacity to hollow out Earth.
Do you think that could have anything to do with that stuff? I saw online the other week that those scientists in Italy
Okay.
that have found, and I think we talked about this previously, about they found the structures underneath the pyramids that looked like there could have been other stuff going on. So like that was like deep down stuff. So you think that maybe they're onto something. Maybe they should aim that whatever that satellite is they used
Okay.
to look for those things under the pyramids. They should aim that at the moon, see what's in there, and then as soon as they find out, I don't know, I suppose they'll suddenly find video footage of themselves as paedophiles and get hung in a New York jail or something. Like it'd be. I'm not saying that man was innocent in any way, but what I'm saying is there's a way of people seem to disappear when they find things out, right?
Yeah.
So I just like the idea of hollow moon though, because I like the idea that one day we're just going to have this massive awakening. It's like, oh my god, not only is the moon not completely as we thought it was, but there's aliens there, there's civilization, like, because that would be the best sort of aliens as long as they're friendly.
I like the idea that the moon never really turns, so we always see one side of the moon. So I like the idea of.
It's really convenient if you were hiding, right?
Yeah. But that's what I would like. I would like the moon to not be hollowed out, but for there to be like the biggest party on the other side that we're just gonna find out eventually.
That we can't see.
We're not allowed to go, and all the hot people, they keep going there. That's what's motivating them to stay hot.
What you mean? Like people from Earth are going there to party?
Just everybody, just people from Earth, people from Mars, people from Titan. They're hanging out. They're doing
people from Mars now.
interplanetary
This is
stuff.
like this is what I'm talking about earlier. It's like people from Titan, people from Mars. Like now, there's life on everything.
Well, if there's life on the moon, there probably is life on Titan as well, right? It's not.
So they're digging down and living underneath ground.
Yeah. Right now, all of the planets are hollowed out.
Okay, so they look fit, but they're using a lot of fake tan, I'm guessing. You remember the thing in 12 Monkeys? You remember the Bruce Willis film? Well, I hope you do, because he won't. But
Okay. That's a brave joke right there. Picking on an elderly man.
Oh, probably happened to me. That will be my.
Do you think he's sad on the inside, or do you think he's sort of happy on the inside?
I think the body has a way. In my experience of like accidents and illnesses and stuff, and it's quite limited. I think the body has a way of helping you through those things, and so I don't necessarily believe he is in any distress of any kind. I feel like he probably just doesn't know what's going on, but doesn't know that he doesn't know what's going on.
Maybe he knows what's going on, but maybe he's sort of content with it. Maybe, well, I've had a good life. I've had everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
And now I can barely move, and there's still people around me that touch me and so on.
If you're going to pick, if you got to pick your life's events right at the start,
Okay.
and you saw that at the end, like you'd still consider it given all the other stuff that happens up front, right? Like it wouldn't be a life you'd avoid picking out of the box if you were choosing a life to have.
Oh yeah.
If you're an alien living on the moon, which is something else that I've read a theory about once. I keep saying read. I've watched a theory about it. It's always YouTube. But the point is, this thing where there's it's something to do with them like sucking our souls or something like that. So like they feed off our souls or something. So they could be living on the moon waiting for us to die and then like whatever. Anyway, the point is that theory is something like they think the aliens put our souls into bodies, and so it's almost like you're choosing a life. You live that life, and then when you die, you're released, and then you go back into another body, and that's like where Buddhism comes from, and why people feel like they've had past lives and stuff sometimes. And it's I've attached it to the aliens living on the moon.
So life is work, basically. People clock into on the first day.
Clock into a body for like, oh God.
Clock in on your birthday.
I just landed a 90-year one.
Clock out in a car accident. I'm getting off early.
It's like, I died in utero. Let's party on the dark side of the moon.
I'm getting paid for 2 weeks of work.
Yeah, thank God for abortion, guys. What a short day that was. Oh, man.
I think just out of options available of growing old, I don't think Bruce Willis is like top 10 sad stories.
No. And what I'm saying is it's not. But also, given the highlights of his life, that if you were to choose a life to live, it probably wouldn't be one you'd avoid. You'd be like, you might accept the illness, given that it would be way outweighed by the other stuff.
I think the problem is he's fairly young to have gotten the illness. That's the problem.
Isn't he 60 odd?
Yeah, for like a millionaire, I think that's kind of young.
yeah, that's a better way of phrasing it.
He could have dated a 19-year-old, and people wouldn't really be that upset with him.
No.
If it weren't for the illness.
No, but what about the moon for you?
The moon for me. So
what do you think it is?
So first of all, what I had on my chest that I want to get off is it took me a while to accept that. Like when I was a kid, they were telling us the moon is made of cheese, and all the cartoons, you'd see like a big block of cheese, and they do some episodes, but it never looked like any cheese that I've ever seen in my life. And like for a while I thought maybe that's just what cheese in the West is like.
See, I think that
it's like Emmentaler, but that's
that's exactly what it looks like if you base it on the images of the moon from before you were born. Like old time images was just like this sort of like very smooth thing with like circular like clip art pictures of the moon could be comparable to Emmental sort of Dutch cheese with the holes in Goudas or whatever they are. And whereas now you were born in like the 80s, and so basically when you're seeing the moon it's a bit more high definition than that, and you're like, this is not cheese.
But it's not like even cheese when I was growing up, it all looked like cottage cheese. It was all sort of, most cheeses in Romania, it was just like white, you can pour it in a bowl.
You always make Romanian food sound so tasty. It's like just pour the cheese in, add the turkey necks.
It's way healthier than any.
Chew.
It's honestly way healthier than any cheese you Westerners have here. With all the E. coli cheese, and just add a rat's tail in there.
It's like
it's gonna help it preserve better.
I bet you were thinking, if that moon's made out of Romanian cheese, why are we all obsessed with going there? It's like, there's no way, man.
No, we had good cheese, but just to go back to the moon, I don't know. I feel like I guess we get to see it every day. It's like it's the one celestial object that I understand being fascinated with.
Mm.
Like I really like astronomy, and I YouTube it a lot and so on, and I feel like it's fantastic with all the planets.
Mm.
But like just as a if I was to buy a telescope and look at the sky by myself, I would find it so boring.
Mm.
But the moon is the one that sort of, well, there's actually something that you can see there.
Mm.
Every other thing is just like a small point.
Yeah. No, obviously, yeah.
So it's like it's almost like the sky is spectacularly uninteresting. But then the moon is like as the clickbait, as a good. Okay, well, what's that then? Okay, well, let's keep looking.
Yeah, it's. I suppose in a way that's kind of why like. We're often interested. It's like in the thing that's just reachable, like that you can just see. Whereas if it's too like I don't know, like we're obsessed with like a lot of Brits are obsessed with America. Americans are obsessed with Britain, for instance. It's like it's that thing that's kind of familiar and kind of close, and you do see it every day in like films and stuff. But then the other stuff, like although people are into other places, like you don't hear about other countries as often.
Yeah.
And so you don't develop as an interest. So the fact you can see it a bit closer, even though you can't go there, and you see it every day. Yeah, I get that. But like, so you just think it's a planet. You're just happy it's not cheese.
I'm happy it's not cheese. I'm happy it's there. I feel like it's fantastic that it's there. I think we did land on it. Are you like 100% sure that we landed on it, or what are you from 0 to 10? Where are you standing with that one?
Well, this is the thing.
Okay.
Up until this day, no conspiracy theory of that nature has ever been proven to be correct. So I'm talking about like assassinations. I'm talking about the moon thing. I'm talking about Roswell's and all these things. Like there's loads of things, and you can deep dive for ages and like convince yourself with all of them. But there's never been any sort of definitive thing where the news stations and everyone's like, well, this is the proof. This is the thing.
Okay.
And so for me, I feel like I'm agnostic on most things. I'd like to believe some of them. But I'm 50-50. But if one of them was proved right, I'd probably just start believing all of them.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like if they proved to me somehow that that the Americans were responsible for their own 9/11,
okay,
then I'd definitely say, right, in that case, you faked the moon landings as well. I'm not buying any of this shit anymore. Like,
for me, it's definitely a hierarchy. Like, I totally believe America faked 9/11. There's bigger chances of America having faked 9/11 than there are faked. Not fake 9/11, but inside jobbing it.
Yeah.
I think
there's so many things there.
I think that's a way more probable thing than the moon landing being fake.
Yeah, there's so many things there, like with the moon landing that look odd though.
Okay.
It's like, here's an example. I remember watching Star Trek as a kid, the original series, William Shatner.
Okay.
And there's an episode, I forget the episode names now, I've not watched it for a long time, but there's an episode where he fights like a reptilian creature called the Gorn, and the makeup and the fight sequence is so slow and clunky, but at the time it looked really good to me when I first watched it, and now I watch it, it's absolutely horrendous. It's funny because it's so bad.
Okay.
And when I look at like the lunar module taking off, the lunar lander, whatever, taking off from the moon, that feels to me like old television because it's all clunky and fake. Like it's not how we'd make it today, and so like it looks like it was made then.
Okay.
And I'm not sure it would have been recorded like it would have come across that way, even on old camera equipment, if it was real. It's one of the things that convinced me the most that it could be fake is that takeoff thing where they leave the camera on the moon,
okay,
and they take off, and it just moves in a way that
But
looks
some of
like old-fashioned sort of
But some of it,
TV making rather than the moon and low gravity and
but
stuff.
some of it is just what cameras were like back then.
I don't think the camera can be responsible for the way that moves unless the whole scene
Like,
moves. But then I
imagine
don't know. Do you not
imagine
see
if-
the scene move because there's so little in it other than the module?
Imagine
I don't
if
know.
all the movies made in like the 60s, they were all filmed with like a GoPro. And then all the mistakes, and you know, we got like better action figures and better better sort of a better strategy to make action scenes look more natural.
I believe
I forgot.
for now
Okay.
that they went. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I also totally I totally believe it's possible at that time in history for them to have faked it and convinced people to lie and kill. Like, I don't think you'd get away with that now. There's too many people, too much tech. There's no way. I think even 10 years after the moon landings, you wouldn't have been able to fake it.
I think before it would have been way harder to fake the moon landing, because they were like you didn't have computers, so they would do like calculations by hand. So you'd actually have to kill like 200 people that worked on or maybe like 2,000 people that worked on the project. Now you can get people up to the moon with like maybe like 7 employees.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you kill those 7 people.
But like, if you're talking about a government you think's capable of killing its own people on its own soil in 9/11, and that was like thousands too, then why wouldn't they? But
it's easier to kill. You know, it's easier to make it look like an accident.
But there was a reason to win the space race, and that was what they were in, wasn't it? It was the space race with Russia, and it was kind of like this whole PR stunt of, are we better than the Russians?
It feels like it was.
And so that's why Americans like would maybe buy into doing that and lying for their entire lives. Is we were doing the right thing for our country. If there's one group of people that without government force are like, ugh, my country, it's Americans. Because like you'd see it in like North Korea and China and stuff, but you don't believe that's their heart a lot of the time.
No, I think it's most soldiers from most countries. They're very brainwashable people. They're very. If you're a soldier, then you're predisposed to lying, to murdering and lying.
Yeah. Do you believe the moon landings happened?
I think so. Yeah. I like it as like I still hold on to I wasn't alive, but I hold on to that moment just from like movies when we were like all glued to the TV, all sort of experiencing something together,
So with our opinions on that, where they stand at the minute, we've established one thing in terms of what the moon is. It is there. It's not. It's not projected. It's not an illusion. It's not, because I've heard theories. What stuff people talk about, all sorts of weird stuff.
Okay.
Hollow moon we've covered. The far side of the moon, something that gets talked about quite a lot. Like there's all sorts of conspiracies that say that not the party island you're talking about, although I think that would be a great thing to have.
Just absolutely, yeah. Just like the international waters, fuck the international waters. Go on the far side of the moon.
Yeah, it's not only can you not go there, but you can't even see where you can't go to. Like it's like it would be the ticket to have. Over like when you talk about celebrities going there, it wouldn't be someone from Big Brother or bloody The Traitors, like, or whatever. It wouldn't be like some random television star. You got to be like A-list to get invited to that party.
Yeah. Even Angelina Jolie, after she divorced Brad Pitt, it was that's it for you. We're sorry, we're not having you on the far side of the moon anymore.
Yeah, it's like
that's too much.
We've got plenty of hot women, but we don't have that many hot men here. They're all fat old billionaires. So let's bring Brad Pitt. Although he's probably close to being both now. I'm not sure if he's fat, but he's probably close to being a billionaire. He's got a bit of money now, right?
I think so. I'm not following his career. He's too different from what I am.
So do you think there might be something on the far side of the moon?
I think I think
you could buy into that.
I am looking forward to. I think probably in the next 10-20 years. That's one of the main reasons I'm not killing myself.
Yeah.
I feel like space exploration is still worth waiting around.
I could imagine
waiting around for.
This would take you into psychiatric care units and like, don't kill yourself. Why? And then you put your head in and say, because of the moon. There could be a base on the. I'm trying to kill myself because I can't get off the drug. But there could be like a drugs party place on the far side of the moon. So like,
That gives me hope. Yeah, that there is sort of. I feel like I've done all the drugs that I can do on planet Earth, and now I just need to stop doing them.
yeah.
So it's just me paying for the good time I already had. But if there's another level of good time to be had in the universe,
Yeah, I like the I like how people get used to things. Because when I was growing up, everyone was talking about, oh, could there be life on Mars? And it's like, well, in order for there to be life, there needs to be water. That's like one of the basic things. And then, like, I don't know, a decade ago, people said there was ice and there's water, and it's generally accepted there's water on there.
yeah.
But like, that was blown up to be such a big deal when I was a kid, and now there was no big deal when that came out. Really, it wasn't like breaking news. There's water on Mars, therefore there must be life. There was none of that, which you'd expect, given how the
because of the asterisks. I think that they found that there are some rocks that if you sort of break enough, you're gonna find a bit of water in some of the rocks.
But that's enough.
I think if we were expecting for like a river. Or like some sort of a lake where you can go fishing.
But it's the idea that there was water, even if it's not there now. It's the idea that that planet had life, could have sustained life at some point.
You know, you take a bottle of Evian to Jupiter, and you can say there's water on Jupiter.
But this is my point. Is like they slow fed those things to us, not necessarily on purpose, and then everyone just accepts it. And now there's water, and it's like you're one step closer to thinking, yeah, there's going to be life. Like how many decades until they've slow fed all these little tiny things until it's just kind of like not even a big deal. So go on, yeah, and here's Ted.
I feel like what's happening with space exploration is sort of as we're finding out more about it. It is becoming a more complex subject, and people are losing interest. Even though it's like it's the one main question of our existence is there other people on Saturn, and what happens after you die? That's the only two questions we have right now on planet Earth. But we're losing interest on the one that we actually can find an answer to, because it's becoming too hard, and we're kind of going, well, it was exciting for a bit to find out the purpose of us being here, but fuck it, let's just go to the park and get some beers.
But you think there could be something on the other side? You think that's a likelihood?
I think that. So this is my. I think we're gonna find life in our solar system in like the next 2 decades. That's why I'm not killing myself.
Cool. And by life,
I feel like you need to be more interested in me not killing myself, because our destinies are kind of tied together now with the podcast.
Yeah, it's like it's the biggest thing in both our lives, isn't it? This? You imagine, I don't know, maybe we'll replay this episode in years to come going, this is the moment where I just should have given more support, because just when we turned the corner 2 years later, he was gone, but I could have undone this then, and I didn't. But just even this part of the conversation is going to seem weird when you're dead in 2 years' time, and if 3 years later we find aliens, and
if we find aliens on if you see a news story about aliens existing on in our solar system, just call me and check up on me.
Yeah. So if you think there's something on the other far side of the moon,
okay,
it doesn't matter what you think about the hollow moon. So you think the moon could be home to some form of life?
But I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a form of life that's originated in the moon. So I think it's still sort of like a pit stop type situation. I don't think it's
but intelligent life.
I don't think there are moon people. I don't know if intelligent. I guess they have to have intelligent life. If they have any sort of tools, then it has to be intelligent, I guess.
So what do you mean by pit stop? You mean like how did they get there if it's a pit stop on the moon?
Oh, just sort of, yeah. They're just on the way to on the way to somewhere.
Not
people,
intelligent, but they're just traveling from one planet to
no,
another.
definitely intelligent, but intelligent of like we would call them stupid if we would sit down with them because they have a different intelligence than ours,
Right.
and we're quick to judge. But I feel like we would very quickly call them stupid and idiots and backwards. If
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, we'd definitely have quite bad nicknames for them. They'd I forget the name of the film, but there's that film about aliens that land on Earth, and it wasn't that long ago. I think they were in South Africa, and they looked a little bit like insects, and there was all sorts of curse word names for them. It was like the modern N word, but like I could imagine that being a thing.
Yeah,
because it's what we do when there's things we don't understand or that weird us out. Like because they're different to us. It's like it'd be like modern day version of finding and bringing slaves across. It's like how do we react to these people that are like slightly different to us and strong and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. It could be just some sort of a like a difference that it's just impossible for us to understand. It's just their sex looks like boxing, and their boxing is sex. And then that's just enough of stop beating your woman. No, I'm making love with her right now. But
I can imagine how that goes. It's like, and then there's some guy in a trailer park somewhere beating his woman up, going, "I'm not human. I'm an alien. I'm just making love to her." He's not an alien. He's not making love to his wife. He's beating her up.
The aliens are speaking through my fists.
Apart from Dark Side of the Moon, Hollow Moon, what else could it be?
Maybe it could be some sort of something that's already humans made it, and they shelved it, and then we kind of forgot about it. But maybe we are like when one of the former civilizations on planet Earth was thriving. Maybe they made the moon. It was they made the pyramids, and after that they made the moon.
Imagine how more impressive. Like, can you imagine if like we found out in years to come that the pyramids was just some sort of like kids project compared to the adults who are playing the real game?
Yeah,
like, floating celestial bodies.
Actually making the moon somehow. With like very strong catapults. We're just kind of sending it rock by rock.
That's the thing I wouldn't buy, because like I do kind of lean into believing that there was previous civilizations more advanced than ours, or differently advanced than ours, but they were still like doing a lot of things, building with rocks and stuff. But the only thing that would exist now, I suppose, from those civilizations, if they were long enough ago, would be stone.
Yeah.
And so anything made out of metal, etc., would be gone.
Maybe
there could have been like spaceships and stuff,
or maybe
they could still be here.
Maybe they didn't send all the rocks into space. Maybe they just kind of trapped traveling rocks, and sort of
I think it'd be
kept them together.
I think if they dug something the size of the moon out of the Earth, there'd be a fairly big crater somewhere, or quite a few pretty big mines.
I think that's the sort of the going theory right now. That the moon sort of the moon happened because like a big meteorite hit Earth, and then part of Earth went into outer space.
This would have been like way before we had an atmosphere or any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Maybe we had an atmosphere, and then we got hit by a meteorite, and then we got the atmosphere again.
No, I believe the Earth itself was formed by lots of rocks hitting each other and slowly moulding together over millennia.
Yeah.
So like I can imagine that one would float around it if it got hit, blah blah blah. But this would be like however long time before the Earth was in any way habitable.
I don't know, but we could get hit like tomorrow by a huge meteorite, get a second moon, and then Earth won't be habitable for a couple of millennia. But then there's a chance it's gonna become habitable again, and people are gonna rediscover the internet. And
See, I don't. No, that I can't buy into that because I just think that. I just think that the moon and the Earth are so round. They're so perfect. It's not a chunk. They're so perfect. I think I remember that deGrasse Tyson guy talking about like from the deepest part of Earth to the highest part is only like a few miles. It's like it's when you take the actual
the size of the Earth,
it's such minuscule. It's actually less variation than the fingerprints on your own finger.
Yeah.
It's like
I agree there, but that naturally happens if something keeps spinning. Like if you start spinning now and you keep spinning up until you're dead, you're gonna be way more round in 20 years time than you are right now.
I think it'd be a lot wider, to be honest. If someone spin me around, I'd just be like,
yeah, you become a bit more wider. You sort of you turn into the shape of a sphere. Slowly, you die way before you become a full sphere.
Let's go with the theory that there's nothing there. Let's just say that it was something that was created at some point. It's just a rock. It's just the moon, and it's real. We've been there. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
But now we start going there more regularly. What should we make of it? What should the moon be, or what would it likely become?
They say it's gonna become like a base, but yeah, it feels like it's still it's anything that people do on a yacht. I don't know.
You think it's rich and famous rather than just like a mining outpost, because they're the two main choices I would have thought. Is like it's either going to be tourism driven,
okay,
and it's going to be that, or it's going to be sort of minerals, and it depends what they find on the moon. I suppose.
But the problem with the minerals, that's going to take another 4 generations to figure out how to actually bring the minerals back to Earth. Right now we can bring like 2 suitcases every 10 years. It's not like and then taking stuff from Earth
need to be a pretty precious mineral.
yeah. I'm not subscribing into the.
But if we can only take a couple of suitcases every 10 years, what sort of high end customer is going to go with minimal baggage?
But then no, you'd move some people there, so you'd get some poor people, move them to the moon. Yeah. They'd become like servants for all the rich people that go back and forward.
So you think that's the most likely thing the moon will be used for once we start going there regular is rich people living there and holidaying there?
I think initially it's gonna be poor people just sort of testing it out for the rich, and then the rich are gonna keep going, and then more and more people are gonna be able to afford to go. The initial rich, they're gonna move to Mars. And then eventually the middle class is gonna inhabit the moon, but probably like in the 2200s. That's my estimate.
And then when do they break away from Earth and want to self-govern? That's gonna happen too.
I don't know. That's a good question, and it is keeping me up at night. But the main problem with
you got to terraform first. Like you've really got to change the moon quite a lot.
But I don't think you can
leave the Earth.
That's exactly what I was going towards. It's such a different environment for us to live in that for just surviving there, it would change you enough that you couldn't come back to Earth. So you can either live on the moon or Earth, and maybe you can visit for like 3 days at a time. But I don't think you can I don't think you can kind of move to the moon and then move back to Earth.
Do you know how bad
the
moon would have to be, the Earth would have to become for me to want to like just go and live on the moon full time?
I think if somebody makes a compelling sort of ad video, you'd want to go to the moon.
What would it be?
Any sort of like whatever problems you have here, they put them in the ad, and they show the ad of they show the moon with those problems not existing there.
Maybe they should
something very visual.
Maybe it should be suicidal people that go, because that's what you see in like sci-fi films.
Okay.
Where it's like people that are escaping the planet tend to be people running away from stuff on Earth, because it's like a lot of expats leave the UK because they're really unhappy because life just doesn't work for them here, so they go and create their own little version of the UK wherever, and it works for them because they're in control a bit more, because there's less people that are better at what they do.
Yeah, no,
I suppose.
I honestly really love this idea. I really think we should colonize. That's honestly the perfect answer for the suicide hotline.
Yeah, hi suicide hotline. Have you ever thought about the moon?
I'm feeling like there's just no point to life on Earth. We got you.
There's no trains, there's no razor blades, there's nothing there. Like, it's literally, you could even throw yourself off a cliff at the moon, but you're going to fall so slowly to the surface. There's nothing to drown yourself in. There's literally no opportunity for death apart from oxygen deprivation.
But that's sort of, because you want to kill yourself because you don't really feel like tomorrow's worth it. But if you literally go to a different planet, then tomorrow is worth it.
Yeah. Hello, Samaritan's Relocation Service. I'm into that idea. It's like literally that's where you'd place the ads for anyone going to the moon, is like in the sort of places where really depressed people. So it'd be in surgery waiting rooms. It would be like, you'd sponsor like the Samaritans and people like that. You'd probably you've got to put an ad in the back of the Stage magazine and anything to do with artists, because like they're depressives generally. Especially like it's like any competition for like best actor, best comedian, best whatever. All the runners up get prizes sponsored by that. It's like I didn't win. But if you thought of the moon,
you could have like a proper comedy competition on the moon.
Yeah.
But like a proper Edinburgh where you go but you never come back.
I'll be here all life.
Come check me out. I'm in the basement of the caves for the rest of humanity.
Yeah. It's the moon comedian of the year. It's been the same guy for decades. No one else has left.
But yeah, I think honestly.
I saw your face. That's the first time I've seen your face
outer
change.
Space travel.
In a way, it's never changed since we started this podcast. Like you looked at me in a way of like everything we've talked about so far. That's the thing that's made sense to you more than anything ever.
It honestly does, because like I do, as I said, I do like the idea of outer space travel, but I do feel I feel for the astronauts as well, because you've to become an astronaut, you really have to have worked hard, and then you kind of have to. Well, I guess I'm going to get in this box. And chance it, and I feel like that's it's not really fair on, like, you've worked so hard, you're not supposed to risk it with those sort of numbers. I feel like we need to get suicidal people to be astronauts,
because like settling the moon is a reason to live for.
Yeah.
And it's like a fresh start, isn't it? It's often when I've heard people talk about taking a life, it's just like there's no way I can change my life. It's just done for. But like it's such a fresh beginning.
Yeah. It's almost like moving to a new country, but like properly moving, like not being able to actually come back.
And you're surrounded by people that are in the same boat as you, so it's not like you're moving somewhere with loads of people, alphas that are already successful.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the same.
You're not going to work for moon. You're not going to the moon to work for people that already live there.
Could you imagine how suicidal you'd feel if you went through all that as a suicidal person? You went to the moon with all the other suicidals, and then they all become successful, and you were still like you were the most suicidal of the suicidals.
Well, in the beginning, you'd still kill yourself, but then eventually, once the base is set up, and it's just a base for more interplanetary travel, and then the suicidal people on the moon, they'd go on the next mission.
To be fair, though, I've also heard a lot of like really successful people talk about moments of suicidal tendency, like where they've either tried to take their own life or thought about it quite a lot, and so it goes to show that a lot of which is within the makeup of successful people to be
Yeah.
quite self-critical to that
Because
level.
you can't if you become successful, you need to be so driven that you couldn't have lived without being successful. You would have killed yourself or become successful, but you couldn't have lived as an unsuccessful person. That's what being successful requires. It requires the power of suicide.
Also, like the risks.
Okay.
Also, the risks involved in going to the moon and setting up. There's going to be so many things that could kill you.
Okay.
But those risks would be seen as positives. So it's just like we've got a whole new life, and worst case scenario, back to what you were going to do anyway.
Yeah. And
But you'll be remembered.
And then you get like a pill, the same way Hitler had like a pill. So that in case something goes bad, you're just gonna bite on the pill and you definitely die. So it's basically you get professional assisted suicide in case things go wrong.
Yeah.
Or you get your name in the history books.
Well, exactly. You'd kind of get that anyway, wouldn't you? Because you'd be like one of the first few people to die. It'd be like,
and also NASA wouldn't have to work so hard on the spaceships, because if life was a bit more disposable, they could just go, let's just build 10 spaceships and chance it.
it's like we're sending 100 of you there. You're all suicidal currently.
Yeah.
Probably only 10 of you going to make it. But less of the unlucky ones. Yeah, but the rest of you, you're going to get exactly what you wanted.
They could get the ships would be cheaper. You could get Boeing to get back into space travel, if survival isn't like the top priority.
I love how Boeing's become like the whipping boy now, considering that like what's the European one called?
Airbus.
Yeah, they had so many sort of issues like 10, 20 years ago, like accidents and stuff. It was always Airbuses, to the point that I never felt comfortable flying on Airbuses. I always felt more comfortable when I was on a Boeing plane.
Do you Google what plane you're in before flying?
No, but I'd pick up the safety card when I get on a plane and go, oh, it's a Boeing, great. I'd feel more comfortable. I'm not a nervous flyer. I used to be when I was young, but not now at all. And
oh yeah, me neither. Now, like,
but yeah,
when I feel some turbulence, I feel like, well, maybe I'm not gonna need to do my life later on.
Yeah. It's, but yeah, Boeing could get into it, I suppose, or whoever can't get the aviation contracts because they're so bad now.
Yeah.
It's like welcome to your flight to the moon. This aircraft was built by Boeing and it's piloted by a suicidal man from Germany. All sponsored by whatever that airline is that went down recently. I don't know.
Malaysian?
No, that was a while ago.
Oh, the India one?
Air India, that's it. I have no idea what happened there, but I suspect it was probably not a Boeing thing and more of an Air India thing. Like, like in terms of safety checks and stuff like that.
I don't know.
Who knows? Something electrical, isn't it?
I think maybe it was just somebody was destined to be an astronaut and they became a pilot.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened there.
Yeah.
We should have never flown within our atmosphere. I don't know what happened.
Well, that was a nice way to kill the energy, wasn't it? I kind of feel partly responsible for that.
No, part of it is me as well. I'm kind of I'm in a sleepy mood.
How sleepy? Have you ever considered the moon?
But I would honestly, like, literally, there's no point in my life when if somebody would have asked me, hey, do you want to go to the moon now? I would have said no. It's not for me right now. I'm gonna go swimming later, so I'm not coming to the moon. Like, I would. Do you want to go to the moon? Any point of. I was just about to fuck this lady, but yes, I'm coming to the moon with you. Sort of like it would always be a yes on me going to the moon. And me not knowing the details would be the best, would be one of the main parts of the attraction. Me not knowing why we're going, what's happening, what we're gonna do when we're there. It's just me. It's
You
just
just
me
need a
knowing that I'm
door.
gonna feel alive for a while.
You just need a door and someone saying, "Get in there. I'm going to take you to the moon." It's like, just get in the box.
Yeah, get in the box. We're gonna put you on TV. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You're gonna be famous and dead. Perfect.
It's like, just don't give him any information. Don't ask him to do anything. Just like make it really easy for him, and he'll do whatever. Just sit in the box, ready.
Yeah.
So you'd be really easy to kill.
I go. Maybe they just need to change the flag because the Americans, they put in like maybe that flag is a bit worn out. So we have a minimum wage job for you, Radu.
So,
Now you go in there, just kind of unscrew the old flag, screw back the new flag, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna get you back to Earth or not.
yeah. I would never go, and you'd so easily go. Like even if I was suicidal, I don't think I'd go, because I've had moments where I've felt like shit in life. Fortunately, a long time ago, and at no point, there's always that like tiny percent of me that knows everything's going to be okay.
Okay.
And I think that's that little part of people that feel suicidal that don't do it, have that in them. And I feel it's that little part in you that would make you not go to the moon when you're feeling suicidal. So I think the only people that would go are the people that were definitely going to jump. Because like everybody that like phones the Samaritans saying I'm suicidal, for instance, not every one of those people are capable of killing themselves. But they have to take all the calls, because you never know which one. But the point is, there are a lot of people that can't.
Well, my reasoning for not killing myself is I'm gonna die either way in the future, so why not wait a little bit?
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is, do you think there'd be any difference on...
I don't think there's a little part of me that thinks everything's gonna be alright. There's a little part of me that knows we're gonna die in the end either way.
Let's take you out of the equation. I'm just talking about this theory of taking suicidal people to colonize the moon, using them. Because there's two types of suicidal people. There are the sorts of people that could follow through on the suicide thoughts, and there are people that can't.
So do you think they're going to change their mind?
I'm one that can't, because I know when push comes to shove, I wouldn't be able to do that, no matter how bad life got.
So if
you ever hear of me...
Once going to the spaceship, you'd change your mind?
If you ever hear of me taking my own life, it wasn't me, I promise you. But no, I couldn't go.
Okay.
Because I'd always have that tiny bit of me thinking I can turn things around here. Same reasoning as why I wouldn't kill myself. So I think the people that would go are the people that don't have that little bit. The people that were definitely going to kill themselves. And what my question to you is, do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage to the program, knowing that not only are you getting the suicidal thinking people, but the people that were capable of acting on it?
Yeah, the people that don't second guess themselves. Absolutely, you need you need that in space. You need sort of a go-getter.
I wasn't calling the Samaritans because I was fucking about. This is a real thing. Like, I'm not some needy ass that just wants someone to support them at the minute. I'm like, I know I probably shouldn't phrase it that way, but that's how I'm going to do it. I'm someone that's calling because I need help, because I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in front of a train.
Yeah, just like as a courtesy.
Those people are being sold, and those people are actually getting the tickets. You
almost don't want the people that call the hotline, because the people that call the hotline, they're the ones that already kind of are on the fence about killing themselves. You
almost want to like...
You need to go to the bridge.
Take people out of the nets that catch you under the Golden Gate Bridge. It's
just like go on the Westminster Bridge and scout every morning. Sorry, sir, are you about to jump off? So are you taking a picture?
No, it's not good enough about to jump off. They could be needy. They could just be looking for a passerby.
Yeah, that's true as well.
You've got to catch them mid-drop. It literally is, the minute the pills go inside themselves, the minute they slit their wrist, you've got to like save them at that moment. But I think the easiest...
Like while pumping their stomach, also take them to NASA. Just on the way to NASA, pump their stomach.
Yeah, I think the best one is to catch them in like nets they can't see under bridges and things.
Okay.
I think that's like
and then mandatory
make the nets.
Space?
Yeah, make the nets. Yeah, make the nets under there. Well, it's not so much make it mandatory. It's like if you made all like the safety nets under bridges invisible so that they couldn't see them, they'd jump off.
Okay.
They'd land in them, and at no point did they think they were going to be saved, but they're saved. But now they've jumped. They're as good as dead now. So it's like nobody knows where those people. They're missing people now.
Okay.
They jumped off the bridge. They don't get a choice.
But we already have that. The
You
Apple.
say you have proven
Yeah.
that you're capable of going to the moon.
But we already have that at the Apple factory in China. So they already have the nets of people trying to.
That's who should go.
That's who should go to. Yeah. Basically, you're good at technology because you've been building phones, and then when you feel like there's no more point in existing on planet Earth, jump out the window,
And you get to
and
the
then
moon.
NASA goes, congratulations.
Now build these phones for Apple. It's like, welcome to the new Apple factory. It's cheaper to build them here than China. And when you jump out of these buildings, as I've mentioned earlier, you won't fall fast enough to kill yourself. So we save money on nets.
I do think we really solved some space travel problems today.
and continued to abuse suicidal people for just a few years longer.